Oh, that song gets better and better. Good morning to you. It is time to skip the BS. It is time for Undisputed, the place for the most enlightening and entertaining football talk. We will get to Vikings Eagles in just a few minutes. This year's Eagles are obviously not as good as this year's Cowboys. And Lil Wayne, the man himself, will join us live in studio later in this show. And also, get ready for this. He'll be performing the song you just heard, Good Morning, live on Big Noon Kickoff on Fox tomorrow in Boulder ahead of tomorrow night's Colorado State Colorado game. Yes, sir. Which brings us to Jay Norvell versus Deion Sanders. Michael Irvin, Keyshawn Johnson, are you ready for some football?
Yeah. Ooh, man. Wait. Lil Wayne is performing
live on Big Noon Kickoff. That song that you just heard. And what did you just say about that song?
It is lit.
It is
lit now. And whenever we come in the studio, and it's just for guys out here, we all start just rocking to the song. It just grabs a beat, man, and puts you in that set.
And it gets in your head, and it just plays and plays all day long.
That's incredible. Deion's throwing concerts up there now before the game. He got, because you know he called Lil Wayne to do all this. He's in on everything.
Later in that video, Deion is shown on his golf cart saying, now he's messing with my mama. Michael Irvin, you know Deion as well as anybody outside his family does. How do you explain the shot Jay Norvell took at Coach Prime?
And we've seen Deion many times on all these social media clips. And one thing he always talks about is he is as comfortable being him as anybody. The only time, I mean the only time, Deion ever said, what do you think I should do? It's when he retired from the NFL and he was going into TV. Came over to my house, he had some suits, and we sat down. We went over some camera work, so I put paper 1, 2, and 3. I said, now make sure you turn to your camera. He said, what do you think I should wear? It's the only time he asked, what do you think I should wear? I said, Tom, do you. Do you. He said, you know what? I said, they're hiring you. Colorado.
Wait, were some of the suits flashier than other suits? Or?
Oh, yeah. And he was like, see, he was going to CBS. He was like, should I go just regular or should I put on? I said, you wear Deion Sanders primetime suits. That's what they were hiring. That's what they want. That's what Colorado hired. They understood that. Right. No, listen, when I look at this, I say to myself, why would this coach say anything? When we talk about that one win that Colorado had, the only win that they had, the last time they had, it was 2019, last time they played, but the last 5 times, they beat this team. You had a chance to sneak in a trap game.
Sneak in.
But you just blew the trap wide open right there with those comments. And what's different, dog, what's different is this dude right here, he does something different. We've never seen coaches talk openly about emotions like that on a football field. Picking on these kids and picking at these kids about everybody's coming after you. Deion said we wasn't bothering nobody. Only the whole social media world, that's all we see is Colorado, Colorado. You're bothering everybody. And Deion has taken this and made it, like he says, personal. I can't wait now to see this game.
You better get there early, then. Because it's going to be over early.
This game,
it was going to be over early the first time before Jay Norvell said what he said about Deion. Look, I don't know how to explain why he did it. Well, I have no idea. He playing to the crowd. Maybe it was in the moment, the heat of the moment. Whatever the case is. But when he opened up his mouth and he said what he said, it does become personal. Because the Deion that we all know and we all love and we all seen, there's a community of not only coaches and players and ex-players and coaches, but there's a community of young kids that look up to that. Now, you try to discredit him by his style in the way that he goes about doing things. Just because he walks into a press conference and he's wearing his glasses and he's got on a hat and he's got his chains on, what is he supposed to wear? Like Deion said, tell me how to dress if this is really a problem for you. Help me, tell me. So you want me to dress like an old crusty coach? That's what you want. How did that how did that help you get your job as you waited 30-something years to become a head coach at the University of Nevada. You did everything that they told you to do.
And there's the issue.
He did.
They told you to act a certain way, Jay Norvell, to dress a certain way, to walk in and talk a certain way, and you still didn't get a job for 30-something years as a head coach.
Yep.
Right.
You bounced around. You've been coaching since 1986 as an assistant coach, starting at Iowa. You've been all around the NFL.
All around.
You've been all around college football. You finally got an opportunity at the University of Nevada after all this time.
So, Key, you
trying to do it the way do it the way that they want you to do it.
Right.
But Deion does it the way that he wanted to do it.
Right.
He goes from high school, being exactly who he is, to Jackson State, doing exactly the way he wanted it to, turned the program upside down, parlayed it into Colorado, who's now 2-0 after going 1-11, and you have a problem with that brother's style. It's ridiculous.
Right.
Then you bring his family into it. Like Deion said, you messing around with his mother.
Right.
As if his mother didn't train him or teach him how to be a man.
Well, I'm talking about, you talking about somebody he's
Come on,
close
man,
to?
stop.
I mean, hey, listen, I'm talking about, hey, Deion and his mom, you don't mess around.
But how do you, not only just Prime, how can you tell an individual, essentially what you said is his mother didn't raise him right.
Yeah.
That's essentially, let's cut to the chase. That's what you're saying. You're saying one of the most popular athletes, entertainers, personalities that we've ever seen, his mother didn't raise him right.
And let's add this part, Keith. Never had a drink, never smoked anything.
No, yeah, never.
Never had any problems. I mean, he's just, you know, so that's a whole nother level of an insult.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
When you take it right there.
If you wanted to say Colorado did wrong because they went into the portal and they got all these players, you want to say that, fine. If you want to say that
you didn't like his approach when he had that first meeting and the things he said.
Whatever, if you want to say that, whatever that is. But then when you start messing around with something personal, Skip, that becomes problematic for you. And
yes, it does.
And again, I hope they hang 80 on them. I hope they hang 80 points on them.
I second your emotion. Yeah. This was a shocking shot because it was below the belt. It was completely out of bounds. And I think you nailed it. He had said all the right things about Deion to the reporters, and then he gets up there in front of a live audience. We've all been there before. We've all been there. And they're hooting and hollering. They're clapping for every word you say. Go, Coach, go, right? And you get caught up in the emotion of that moment, and you can't help yourself, and you go completely over the edge because you do speak the truth that's in the back of your mind that comes suddenly to the front of your mind. Because I still believe in his heart of hearts, he does look at Deion as this, as what he said. I think it came from a deep part of his psyche and soul. And he...
Out of the abundance of his heart, his mouth speaks.
It flew out of his mouth before he could stop it, and he got sounded like a standing ovation. They were laughing and clapping.
Play to the crowd.
Right? Okay, well, it's playing to the crowd. Okay, Jay Norvell, in context, in perspective. He did have a very old-school upbringing in the state of Wisconsin. His father, Merritt, became the athlete. He was a forerunner, a trailblazer as a black athletic director, one of the first. I don't know if you could make a case he was the first at a Power 5 school, but it's debatable. But anyway, the point is, Merritt, his father, was at Michigan State for 5 years, and the head coach was Nick Saban, old school as you can get. And Tom Izzo had just been hired as the basketball coach. So you can see where the roots came from for the son, Jay, as he came up, and the mom was a former model, and the parents met at University of Wisconsin. So those are the roots. He didn't grow up in Los Angeles like you did or in Fort Lauderdale like you did, okay? All right, so he's now 60 years of age. Prime is 56, right, I believe? Okay, so they're still in the same age group, but the point was he took not only a personal shot, he took a cultural shot at him, to me. And it really is disturbing because he is a black man and a black head coach versus a black man and a black head coach in college football.
And we get into this, and to that point, there's jealousy here. And there's jealousy to what you talked about, the path in which we've gotten here.
Yes.
You know, and Deion's done it his own way. He's always done things his own way. And other coaches have worked hard and to come up that chain. But Deion, you see, Deion does things that he's talking to these coaches about emotional things. Coaches don't even do that. Let's focus on the game. We're going to focus on what we need to get done. Yep. Let's just, it's blah, 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 blah. Nobody tells you. When Deion was talking about, I know these kids and I know their parents. So he knows what to do when it's time to reach down inside and try to pull something out of them. So he brings that up. Or your mom. She worked 2 jobs. That's too hard. She's working too hard for you to be giving this kind of effort. You know what I mean? People, that makes it all real, where coaches never made it that real. That's why people are so drawn to what Deion is doing.
Skip, you brought up Jay Norvell's upbringing to a degree, right? And you talked about from a cultural standpoint. Here's what I was saying.
He didn't grow up in the hood.
He's not.
Right, that's what he's saying.
I understand that. But guess what he has done? He's coached in Los Angeles. He's coached in Austin, Texas. He's coached the Oakland Raiders. He's been around enough brothers to understand. Yeah. He's been a receiver coach, a pass game coordinator. And when you're a receiver coach and a pass game coordinator, you got to deal with us. And you have to deal with people that look like Prime and act like Prime. Okay? So there's no excuse for his behavior toward Deion. There's no excuse. Because he's coached and he's been around long enough. Even if he didn't grow up in the hood, he understands the hood culture. He done been down in Fort Lauderdale at St. Thomas Aquinas recruiting those kids. He had been to Dorsey High School in the inner city of Los Angeles, recruiting those kids, coaching at UCLA and Arizona State.
You know him a little bit.
I know Jay very, very well. Very well. And that's why, to me, when it came out yesterday, I'm like, what the hell is Jay doing? But then I had to take a step back to understand, okay, I do know who Jay is, and I know how he does things, but to mess with Prime, no. If you was messing around and said that about Nick Saban or somebody like that, the understanding would be such that, okay, I get it. But when you do that to Prime, it's like, wait a minute, man. As hard as it takes us to get these jobs and these positions, you have now shed this light.
Years.
Yeah, 30 years. It shed this light. Years.
Instead of being upset that it took you 30, be happy that he's opened up a new path for someone else to blaze a trail and maybe come through that route. And instead of that, he was not happy.
No, and so when you look at it on its face, you have to be able to say, okay, this man went and got the job the way that he wanted to get it. He's doing a hell of a job. He's helping these kids. I need to figure out how to continue to hold on to my job here at Colorado State and recruit and do some of the things and sneak in and try to upset Colorado, opposed to saying something that is now have the entire college football nation and then some watching this game on Saturday, because we know that Deion has turned it into something personal. And like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if it's 80-0.
Yeah.
Washington State put 50 on them.
Yep.
Okay?
Put yourself in Jay Norvell's shoes now for a moment. He's at Nevada. He does pretty well. He starts to turn that program around, and he takes a step up the ladder. He goes to Colorado State. They go 3-9 last year, but all of a sudden he thinks he's got a shot here to get a big foothold in the state of Colorado. What? What?
Yeah.
Deion Sanders is going to Colorado? You're kidding. So is there jealousy, or is there a threat? Does he look at Deion as a threat? I need to undercut the threat.
No, it's not a threat, because one school is a Power 5 school in Pac-12. Another school is just there, right, in Colorado State. It's just there. In-state kids are offered by Colorado probably going to go to Colorado anyway. They're not even recruiting the same type of players. Yeah. So
I mean, every once in a while, they've had their moments at Colorado State. They've had some basketball moments, too.
Yeah, you might steal one or two guys, but for the most part, kids aren't looking at Colorado State as much as they're looking at Colorado, especially now. They're not even recruiting the same guys.
Okay, but I can't speak for every
guys. Those fringe guys, Deion will take those fringe guys that may have gone to Colorado State. Deion will take and bring better things out of them.
That's true, too, though. No, that's true. That's very true.
And raise them up.
Whatever hope Jay had of recruiting some kids in Colorado,
just went out the window.
Just went out the window. Didn't it, right? Am I right?
It's gone. No doubt. It's gone.
And yet,
it's gone. And you're right. Everybody going to watch this game now. everybody will watch and see just how personal this is.
Yeah, and you just don't poke the bear unnecessarily. And that's what Deion said, he's minding his own business. They ain't bothering nobody. We out here practicing, trying to get good for the next game, and y'all sitting up continuously talking about my program in a negative light. Well, how do you think somebody feels? It's like anything. I'm not thinking about you, Skip. When I leave this building and go on, I'm thinking about my family, I'm thinking about what we did on the show, but I'm not sitting there every 30 seconds saying, I got to think about what to do with Skip tomorrow. I got to think about what to do with Skip
I think you might do that.
No, I know you can't do it.
Don't worry.
No, I'm not thinking about you, Michael, when I leave. I'm not, when you beat me, I'm not thinking about you. I'm not, because the game's over now.
Yeah.
I don't need to give you no motivation. And that's exactly what Jay is doing. Now you done put your team and those young men in harm's way against Colorado. Now, how you think some of the team feel now?
And bringing the best out of his players. Like, if I'm Deion, this is easy. This is easy now. This was going to be a tough situation. And you know, when you have great success, the great coaches, Jimmy Johnson used to always press on you. Like, you come up, you play first two games, like, you're playing well, everybody's going well. Jimmy would always say there's a human tendency when you're having great success to pat yourself on the back. There's a human tendency, and it really is. It really is when you think about it. So when we're having success, he presses down hard on us. I was expecting Deion to press down on those boys this week. You know what I mean? It's been great, everything's great. Now you got to press to keep them focused. He doesn't have to do that.
No.
Jay did it for him.
Jay just did it for him. You just did it. So now I don't even have to get on my guys. We can stay on this good foot and having fun, whoop your butt. And that's exactly what's going to happen.
Okay, so Monday we had Deion on the show for a second time, thanks to you. And I asked him, you at all concerned about a trap game coming up, Colorado State?
Right.
We don't do trap games. He said all the right things because he's going to do a Jimmy on the team, just as you said. It's a trap game because next week is at Oregon, and the following week is your guys, is USC and Caleb at Boulder.
It was a trap game.
It was a trap game.
It ain't a trap game no more.
Now it's a trap game for Jay Norvell, right? He just fell into the trap that Colorado was going to fall into.
And the thing is if it's interesting because Deion's going to try to get up early and put a whole lot of points on them, rest his guys up, get some play from some other guys so they can go into Oregon fresh. That's the problem that Jay gonna have to face. It might be 35-0 at halftime. Okay, it might be 50-0 at halftime. Now you get the opportunity to empty the bench. You giving this man an opportunity to empty the bench when he wasn't gonna do that before, because he probably would have been in somewhat of a dogfight.
The most important thing, one of the most interesting things I heard you say is you called Deion in Colorado poke the bear. This team won one game last year. And we're calling them the bear now. You said, what would you poke them? That blows my mind.
They are the bear.
Well, look, for whatever it's worth, they beat TCU on the road in a hostile environment. You were there. Then they play a somewhat rival in Nebraska. They pull away from them in the second half. Again, you were there. You saw it up close in person. If that ain't a program coming, then what is?
And he says we coming. And the thing is, so what bothers me, and we touched this, is as I look through that journey that Deion has taken, this happened at Jackson State with
the other coaches in Jackson State.
Yeah.
I mean, the other HBCU coaches.
HBCU coaches whose fathers very famous. I don't bring this stuff back up here. But this has happened. And now it happens again at this level. Both coaches were African Americans, where I think you should be happy that this dude has opened up this avenue, you know, and happy to look back and say, man, maybe some other youth coach can start coaching at a high school and get this fast path. Happy that another path has been revealed, but yet and still they are not, and that's disappointing. That's disappointing.
And to me, big picture. If Jay Norvell had gone so far as to guarantee victory over Colorado, it wouldn't have been as bad as what he did this way. This became personal.
Victory, I wouldn't care.
No, but we'd all laugh. Like we'd all, you know, what are you talking about? So my point is, he went past football all the way over the edge into personal. Okay.
I wonder when he look at Deion with the hat, the gold chain and stuff on. I wonder if he look at him and go, "Oh, he looks like a rapper. Why is he coaching?" Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the mentality is so crazy that Jay, just like you said, from the back of the head to the front of the mouth, it couldn't stop it.
No, it couldn't stop it. And yet Deion went on his coach's show last night and did try to explain a little bit, which I didn't need, about why he wears the glasses. He says, I get up at 4:30 in the morning. I'm in the office by 5. So by the time you see me, I'm worn. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to really hide my eyes. Eyes tell everything about a person. That's really, why do I do it? Well, I also look good doing it. Well, he does look good doing it.
But he doesn't, like you said, Skip, he don't need to explain. I don't need
to hear.
I don't care.
No.
I mean, it's like asking Michael, why you wear a jacket and a tie and a tie pin? Why don't you just come up here with a T-shirt? Because that's the way I dress.
Why don't you have any socks on, too?
Because that's the way I dress.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like to do it that way. As long as the ankles ain't ashy, I'm good.
I just hate them brothers, man. Brothers doing that to brothers. Come on, man. Get on that train.
If you have a response to all you just heard, you can reach us right now at #UndisputedLive. But up next, were the Eagles more impressive than the Cowboys?
Oh, here we go. Y'all better stop. I'm telling y'all.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.